It's been really rough without having Nate, and I don't know how I'm gonna be without them in my life anymore. But for the 3 years that I was privileged to be with them, we have a lot of memories. Like Apollo, for instance. I wouldn't have Apollo if it wasn't for Nate. We just I was heartbroken over the passing of my first dog, Daisy, and it was a rough time for me. And the conversation came up where, hey, maybe we should get a new little fur baby, and it was a great idea. So it's funny, like it just maybe took us a couple days to decide, but saw a picture of Apollo, and it was just love at first sight. And we went, and I swear it was just so surreal. It's crazy how I have this little furry thing, and it was all because it was made possible because of them. So it's gonna be rough. We have a lot of crazy memories together, but we'll keep it PG. But there's been a lot of laughter, a lot of hugs, and one thing I do regret is not hugging them. During this pandemic, it was everybody being precautious, and one thing I learned from that is I'm never not gonna hug a friend. So regardless of a pandemic or not, because that's one thing I definitely miss the most is the embrace of this beautiful person. And
Oh, this just doesn't feel real. It's heartbreaking still. I remember meeting her here for the first time when she moved into with Alyssa. And I think the first thing that stood out was her Bart tattoo. And I just remember talking about Bart and that episode of the Raven. And I don't know, since then I was shy at first to talk to her, but she was just really welcoming, and I don't find people like that. She was a very kind person. Her friendship really did mean so much. And all the talks and everything, I'm glad we were open about how we felt, how just everything. I'm glad I, told her how she means a lot, and how she, told me how she meant, like how she felt about me too as friends, and it really meant a lot. Like people like that never come around, and it's really hard. It's really hard. Just thinking about it bums me out. That span of like the time she's been living here, her friendship really meant a lot. The whole wifey thing started when she did a stick and poke tattoo on my ring finger, and that was the sun. And so that's how it started. It's how the whole wifey thing started. This one, and she did pretty much all of these: the moon, the numbers, and Maya, the lotus, my moon, my tattoos, all the little ones, and I did Saturn and a spaceship on her arm.
I've been friends with Nate for about 3 years, and Nate really taught me how to take care of myself. Like we would just do meal prepping on Sundays, and just hang out every day. And we're kind of roommates at one point in life. And I appreciate my friend for just showing me what life really was about. I started going to protests, and it's always been about something I stood for, and Nate just showed just helps me how to just come out of your box, and just how to support one another. And Nate was just the definition of support, and just a really good friend. May you rest in peace.
Emma was one of the coolest people I'd ever met in my life. I remember when she came into XR for her job interview, just because of her green dreads, I was thinking to myself, that's the one. That's the one we gotta hire. She's with it. She knows what's up. She's going to be good on customer service. I just knew she was going to be great. And we hired her, and it turns out I was way, way, way in the right. Because Emma had the best customer service. She was able to switch from professional to fun-loving. And I remember one time I bought her Spam. Because for some odd reason, I thought Spam, because of its long shelf life, was a plant. And Emma was vegetarian. And then, so everybody schooled me on the floor on how Spam is actually meat. Which I should have known, but I didn't. Another favorite memory I have with Emma was the time we took her to Disneyland in California. And it was such a random occurrence of, let's just go. And we went. And it was one of the best times. Alyssa bought her ears and herself a pair of ears. So they were completely girly, nerdy, having the best time. We had such a good day. I mean, we wore each other out. And I remember everybody was ready to nap by the time fireworks happened. And we almost did on Main Street. Another favorite memory with Emma that I have was one time I was at the farmer's market where Carl worked as well. And there was a guy there with a shaved head. And Emma was really eyeing this guy because she thought he was white supremacy because he had a shaved head. And I'll never forget, Emma was like trying to scope it out, like, is this a hater? Is this white supremacist? And I think my favorite memory of that was I looked at Emma and I said, he doesn't have any eyebrows either. And she looked, she had this breath of relaxation that was like, okay, good, I don't have to kick anybody's ass. Because Emma was like that. Emma was all about fighting for equality and what was right and against what was wrong. And we don't have that many people that are like that. And it's so frustrating that she passed when she did, because this is her fucking time. This is a time that she would have been all about the protests, all about fighting for what's right. And now it falls upon me and her other friends to actually stand up for what's right in Emma's honor as well as her memory. I do miss her.
Hi, Nate. I'm sorry that things are the way they are right now, unfortunately. I didn't know you for very long, but, the time that I did have with you and spend with you, I always enjoyed. We had such great conversations. You had such interesting outlooks on different parts of life, different views of life as well, and you were just a very open-minded and very open-hearted person, and that's something that I will always cherish and appreciate, and I will never forget that about you. And I hope that wherever you're at, you're resting in power right now, because you deserve it. I wish the world could have gotten to see more of you, and I wish we could have seen more of what you were going to accomplish, because you definitely were on the path where it seemed like you were hoping for some changes in the world, and you were going to do things to make that happen, and that's something that'll be missed, definitely. I love you, and again, rest in power, Nate. Love you.
I met Emma through Alyssa, and like many, she impacted everybody. Just her walking into the room just brought a presence of peace, and she was just always so uplifted and just high-spirited, and it's just one great characteristic that she had. During the time of getting to know her, she ended up working with me at a company, and while working with her, it was always great working with her, because not only the fact was she always a hard worker, she also was always just full of laughter. She was completely herself. She didn't care on what she looked like. She didn't care of what she said, and it just really just showed like the true Emma, the true Nate. I built a closer relationship with her, and me and her, we got really close. She did share her story of Nate, and also her story of her past. And it takes a lot for somebody to really open up what happened in the past, or your life experiences, and she was able to do that with me, as well as I was able to relay some information from my personal experience. And that's one thing that was so great about Emma, is that she was such a great listener, and she was so passionate and empathetic. I'll make this quick. Emma, your voice was so soft, but there was so much meaning behind it. Although your voice was soft, it was strong, and I just love, and I'm gonna miss how you are so passionate about the things you stood up for, and that you were so determined, and you're such a hard worker, and you always loved, you loved love, and I love you. I miss you, and I really hope you're out in the next world in a way better place than this one right now. I love you, and I am sorry for your guys' loss.
So I remember Nate as always being a very cheerful and happy person. You could definitely feel her energy, like when you would walk in the room. She had such a bright, energy. Nate will be very missed, and yeah.
I had a crush on them, but I was kind of, it was middle school. I was not out yet, and my sister outed me, which I was mad at first, but then I got happy because when they were known as Emma at the time, just accepted me so wholeheartedly, and just changed my life forever for the better. I just think about those little moments that you take for granted, just sleepovers, just spending time with them, and I'm so grateful I got to experience that in my life. And I just experienced things that you never think of. We always inspired each other, just made each other brighter. And I was so sad when they moved out here to California, because I felt like I lost a part of myself. But and so I can come visit, and when I did, it was the best experience. Made new friends, literally saw other parts of the world, and I'm glad they were able to find some happiness here. And I'm sad that this is where their journey ended, at least with us. But somewhere else, I know they're still continuing that. And I just want to remember them with just happy and loving. So I'm sad, but I'm not, because they're not suffering, and I know there's wherever they are, it has to be better than this place, this earth. So I just want to end this with love. I love Nate forever, and I'm glad he existed. We got the privilege of knowing him for even the shortest amount of
I
time.
remember Emma coming to the house to hang out with Stephanie and all her friends that are here right now. She just had a very, very, very big heart, and she spoiled Stephanie too much with gifts for her birthday and Christmas, and every little thing that she will find that Stephanie likes, she will bring for her. She will be missed. We love you, Emma, and you will be, you're right now in a better place, and I know you're hanging out with them right now. We love you.
I felt like she was one of those people you've known your whole life, and she was very easy to talk to. I know my mother passed away last year, and I came over to Alyssa's house, and I was feeling very emotional, and she was there, and I was just venting out about how I felt about my mother my whole life. And she just sat there and listened. And even though that's, talking about something like that to somebody, it's not to me, I always felt hey, don't be so negative, but she was no, it's fine, go ahead, talk about it, I'm listening. And it felt good to just say all those things in front of her. And I know when my son got into playing trombone, and I was telling her about it, she got so excited because she used to play trombone, and she had given me her music book full of different types of music that my son was able to do and play, and she was just so excited about it. And she was just the sweetest person I've ever met, and I'm glad that I've met her. You know, sad to see her go, but you know.
Nate was a real one. He really was. He was one of, I don't know, the greatest people I've ever met in my life. I wish he actually got that chance to fully be himself and be happy with himself. But the time that he was here, you know, he lived an amazing life. He touched a lot of people, impacted a lot of lives. I mean, God, when I first met him, I mean, he helped me a lot. I first met him at work, where I currently work right now, and he helped me. So did Alyssa and Anna, and they're just it was a really great coven, a witch coven, I can say, and a really great community. They were the best. They're super generous, always giving to their friends. I mean, I barely even knew them. They would give me rides. My car wasn't working. It was all sorts of things, and that's how that friendship really bloomed. I mean, that's just the kind of person they were. And I feel bad for the people that don't get to meet him. You know, I'm really happy about what's going on right now. Obviously, there's a lot of change going on, a lot of things going on in the world, and I wish they were here. He was here to, you know, experience that, because he's been waiting for the revolution. You know, we all have. And, you know, for freedom, especially because he's black and he's white. So definitely a lot of just change, you know. And I do hope, and I do know that wherever he is, he's with us right now as the wind blows.
So Emma, I loved her. She was a sweetheart. I don't know what to say. Love ya.
If I ever leave this world alive, well, thank you for the things you did in my life. If I ever leave this world alive, I'll come back down and sit beside your feet tonight. Wherever I am, you'll always be more than just a memory. If I ever leave this world alive, if I ever leave this world alive, I'll take on all the sadness that I left behind. If I ever leave this world alive, the madness that you feel will soon subside. So in a word, don't shed a tear. I'll be here when it all gets weird. If I ever leave this world alive. Just call my name just before you go insane. If I ever leave this world, hey, I may never leave this world, but if I ever leave this world alive, she says I'm okay.